Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your continued attention. We now begin the second panel on how to enhance Europe's competitiveness, securing economic growth, and creating quality jobs. Towards the end of her first mandate, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen tasked former Prime Minister Italian Mario Draghi with preparing a paper on competitiveness, on European competitiveness. The proposals in this paper are a core part of the current Commission's proposals on competitiveness, such as the Competitiveness Compass and the Omnibus on cutting on red tape. Our panel today will discuss how long-term competitiveness can be achieved and what can be done to create more quality jobs in Europe. I invite our speakers to enjoy me here on stage. Please allow me to introduce Jürgen Warborn, MEP and President of SME Europe, Lydia Pereira, MEP and President of YEPP, the youth organization of the EPP, Dennis Racket, MEP and President of EUCDW, European Union of Christian Democrat Workers, and Sari Ratio, President of EPP Group in the Committee on the Regions. Good afternoon, welcome. Thank you for your participation in the second panel. Please sit down. Thanks a lot. I start with you, Mr. Warborn. As already mentioned, the Omnibus package to reduce red tape has been introduced by European Commission as one of the measures of EU business increasing, to empower EU businesses. As President of SME Europe, what do you see as the biggest challenges that the single market currently faces in relation to small and medium-sized enterprises?
I think there are a couple of big issues that we have to deal with. But first of all, I would like to say that I think we are in a great position now, actually. I'm quite hopeful and optimistic because now we have a strong EPP Commission, we have a strong EPP in the Parliament and a strong EPP in the Council. So we have a lot of possibilities to solve a lot of issues, and coming back to competitiveness, the competitiveness that not least SMEs need in order to create good paying jobs and prosperity for all. There are three main issues that we have to work with. You mentioned, of course, the omnibus, which is the first omnibus is presented, and that is so important now that we continue cutting red tape, cutting administrative burden, reducing the pressure that businesses have, and not least the small and medium-sized enterprises, because they are mostly affected by the red tape, by this administrative burden. So if we can reduce as much as possible, then we will increase competitiveness. It's about cutting cost, basically. So let's do that not only in the Parliament and the Commission and the Council, but also in the Member States. I think it is very important to implement our rules and regulation in a manner that stays competitive. The second thing I'd like to point out is the energy situation, because we have become too dependent on Russian gas, and we need to change that now. And we need to produce a lot of new energy. This is important for our competitiveness, and it has to be solar, it has to be wind, and it has to, yes, also be nuclear. We need that impetus and that strong leverage so that we have more energy in Europe. And the third and final thing I'd like to raise today is, of course, the internal market, to make sure that we deepen and broaden the internal market so that it's as easy as possible to do business all across Europe, because then we have a lot of leverage in the situation, in the turbulent situation we have now with Trump in the US administration and the tariff from the US. If we can deepen the internal market, that creates some leverage in our negotiations with the US and with the rest of the world.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Rautio, as president of the APP group in the Committee of the Regions, I would like to ask you, what do you think are the main issues regarding competitiveness in EU regions?
Yeah, thank you for this timely question, and it's so nice to be here. And I agree on what Jürgen was said earlier. First of all, the most important thing is to understand that cities and regions are different.
Yeah.
They are very different.
Very different.
So also the solutions and the assets are different. So they face also different challenges in infrastructure, access to capital, suitable labor, and skills. And of course, the local and regional authorities, they look after, as we know, as average, they look after the 1/2 of the public employment, 1/3 of the public spending, and 2/3 of public investment. And everything what is happening, what was also said by Jürgen already, the big changes we are facing, it's all happening in the local level. And what do we do at the EPP to answer to this question, dilemma? We think small first. So EPP-led towns, cities and regions are the Europe's tapestry of local employment, heritage, culture, and sense of belonging. We are near people, we are near industry. So that's why we can't have the same system everywhere, but we need to listen to the enterprises in order to get the competitiveness raising. And the local and the regional governments are the agents for this change. So we need to shift our mindset and to, of course, to obstacle towards an adaptation to legal rules and to react faster and effective in the local level. And the most competitive and growth-friendly regions, which the EPP leads, of course, are often the ones that facilitate the smart specialization and integrated value chains. I want to give you just in the end, 2 small examples. For example, access to finance. We have the case of municipal banks in Sweden, which is really interesting. For my home region, on scaling defense, security, and dual-use innovations, coordinated by the city of Riihimäki, the DEFINE program brings together the Finnish defense forces, the country's leading companies, from the industry, research institutes, and startups. So, we need to let's work on common strategy. That means scaling up what already works in the cities and regions, but not the same way everywhere.
Thank you for your comments. Ms. Pereira, as president of the youth organization of the EPP, and in your experience speaking with young voters, how do you explain to European citizens what things like competitiveness mean? How do initiatives from the different institutions directly impact their lives?
Well, first of all, good afternoon, and thank you very much for once again inviting the youth of EPP of taking part in this panel. In one of my last addresses as president of this great and awesome organization that I have had the privilege to lead for the past 6 years. And saying this, we have been putting a mark in a number of initiatives in the EPP exactly addressing competitiveness. And this is why. Because we cannot let the younger generations to grow up with a sense of being limited in their capacity to aspire, to have more, to, as our parents, as our grandparents could offer to us, this also has to be offered to the young people. And so competitiveness is a very fundamental piece of the puzzle, exactly to enable that we have good salaries, that we have good quality jobs, that we have access to healthcare. And so it is not by accident that in one of the last surveys of the Eurobarometer, for younger generations, economic stability and cost of living are the 2 main important points in their preoccupations, in their concerns. So what are we doing? We are where we've always been, the EPP. We are the stability in the House. For the past 5 years, we've been always advocating in the Parliament for cutting the red tape. I remember in the several speeches that I delivered in the plenary to push for cut the red tape, and I tried to convince our colleagues from the different sides of the Parliament to come aboard with us, because this is delivering for the people, and we are the European People's Party. So this is our goal is to deliver for people, regardless of their generation. But in particular for younger generations, this is rather relevant, especially in some of the countries that are severely affected by housing crisis, which mostly affect younger generations. And this is what we have been doing. It is basically what Jorgen has said, that we have to cut the costs. It is what Sari just mentioned. We have to work with the different communities because they are all very special, they are all very unique, but we cannot lose sight of who are we doing this work for. And this is for the generations, but in particular to leave a better planet, a better continent for the younger generations.
Thank you for your input, Mr. Racket. As we have heard from your counterparts on this panel, the creation of quality jobs is of utmost importance for citizens and for European businesses. When you speak with members of your association, what are the key things they are looking for in their jobs?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to speak in German.
Don't worry.
Yeah. I give you a second to have your earphone ready. Ja, vielen Dank. Vielleicht mag sich der eine oder andere fragen, was machen eigentlich die Arbeitnehmervertreter bei der Frage Wettbewerbsfähigkeit? Aber erstens ist es so, dass es in der Sache zusammengehört. Die Frage Stärkung der Wettbewerbsfähigkeit ist für die Sicherheit der Arbeitsplätze zentral. Und zweitens gehört das bei uns in der EVP-Familie einfach zusammen. Und ich will einfach mal sagen, auch aus meiner deutschen Perspektive heraus, wenn man sieht, wie stark vor allen Dingen die europäische Industrie, auch meine heimatliche deutsche Industrie unter Druck steht, welcher Hang da ins Rutschen geraten ist, vor allen Dingen energieintensive Industrie, auch Stahl, vor allen Dingen Stahl, Automobilindustrie, Automobilzulieferindustrie. Das, was wir dort erleben an Restrukturierung, an Arbeitsplatzverlusten und auch an Angst vor Arbeitsplatzverlust, das ist enorm. Und das ist sozusagen nicht nur eine Gefährdung für die Basis unseres Wohlstandes in Europa, sondern es gefährdet auch unsere demokratische Stabilität in Europa. Denn wir sehen die Erfolge der Rechtspopulisten überall, auch zuletzt bei uns in Deutschland. Die Entwicklung ist dramatisch. Das hat sehr viel damit zu tun. Und last but not least gehört natürlich auch die Frage Resilienz und Unabhängigkeit dazu. Weil wenn wir wesentliche Teile unserer einheimischen Industrie, unserer europäischen Industrie verlieren und die Abhängigkeit gegenüber anderen in der Welt, die unsere Werte nicht teilen, die nicht nur teilweise Rivale, sondern offener Gegner sind, wenn die immer größer wird, ja, dann haben wir das nächste Problem. Und deswegen ist es aus meiner Sicht richtig, dass die EU-Kommission mit dem Clean Industrial Deal da jetzt die richtigen Akzente setzt, mit einem ganzen Mix und Bündel an Maßnahmen, um auch ein klares Signal zu setzen an die Beschäftigten. Wir haben verstanden und von der europäischen Ebene aus werden wir alles dafür tun, um unsere Industrie nicht nur fit zu machen für den Wechsel in Richtung CO2-Neutralität, sondern vor allen Dingen auch fit zu machen für den internationalen Wettbewerb, um eure Jobs zukunftssicher zu machen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks a lot. We must underline a word very important about this panel. You first, Warborn, please. One word for resume, for result this panel. In one word.
Yes, so there are, of course, a lot of things we have to do. And I'd just like to mention one that we had this morning. We had an event this morning in SME Europe where I think we underline the need that we all come together and that we discuss these issues much more. And from the SME Europe, we'd like to invite everyone, basically, to come together and to reach out to us so that we can involve ourselves in creating the most and the best competitive situation in Europe there is.
Okay, Ms. Pereira.
Well, I think the summary of this panel is that we have to get things done. And this is what we have committed in the beginning of this term with a strong EPP presence in the Parliament. And this is our commitment to the people. Get things done.
Thanks. Ms. Rautio, you first, please.
Thank you. Yes, I think what Lydia
Briefly,
just said...
please.
Sorry?
Briefly, please.
Yes, yeah, what Lydia just said about people is something really, truly important. And that's why we have to figure out, for example, cohesion policy. That's not charity. That is solidarity, and that is taking everyone along. And when we want to build up our competitiveness, cohesion policy is a tool for that, but we have to get results from them. That's why I'm very fond of performance-based connection to the cohesion policy. But we have to have people first.
Okay, thank you. And you? Please, Mr. Racket.
Ja, ich denke, wir können wirklich sagen, und das ist ja auch unsere EVP-Handschrift, wir haben jetzt den richtigen Weg eingeschlagen in der Europäischen Union. Auf der einen Seite mit einer klaren Industriestrategie, die zu einer nachhaltigen Stärkung von Wettbewerbsfähigkeit führen wird, aber auch auf der anderen Seite mit der Adressierung von Themen wie Union of Skills, so, wo es ganz klar auch um die Frage geht, wie können wir die Qualifikation von Beschäftigten verbessern? Wie können wir auch gerade denjenigen mit formal geringer Bildung die Möglichkeit geben, trotzdem zu formalisierten Abschlüssen zu kommen? Das halte ich für ganz zentral, weil dieses ganze Thema Fachkräftemangel, das ist auch eine Bedrohung für unseren Wohlstand. Und deswegen ist es richtig, dass die EU-Kommission das sehr klar adressiert hat. Und drittens will ich einfach auch noch mal sagen, dass der ganze Themenkomplex Zuwanderung und auch die Aktivitäten, die wir dort als EU unternommen haben, jetzt, die wir auf den Weg gebracht haben, dass das elementar wichtig ist auch für die Frage Wettbewerbsfähigkeit, nämlich auf der einen Seite sicherzustellen, dass wir illegale Migration begrenzen, aber auf der anderen Seite Möglichkeiten eröffnen, auch Stichwort Talentpool hier genannt, wie wir sozusagen Menschen, die wir dringend brauchen, für unseren Arbeitsmarkt aus Drittstaaten zu uns bekommen. Und einfach mal diese 3 Elemente genannt als Beispiel dafür, dass wir unter EVP-Führung von Ursula von der Leyen da jetzt wirklich auch den richtigen Weg eingeschlagen haben und die richtigen Akzente setzen.
Okay, thanks a lot for your participation. Ms. Rautio, Ms. Pereira, Warburg, and Mr. Rocket. Thank you for your valuable contributions, which are very interesting and helpful. Thanks a lot. Okay, we finish the second panel. We will see in the third. Thank you.